Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to a brand new TW9 video. You join us for pay-per-view day. It is AEW World's End 2025 and hopefully we can have a belter of a show. And I was going to think it wasn't going to be too many matches and I think we'll still end up with 14. But I say a lot of stuff's been pretty good story-wise. I'm quite happy with how the Continental Classics went and it should set us up pretty nicely into 2026. So I've kept this as a normal show. This has been set as premium. Did forget to change that, so the attendance will probably be pretty similar to what a Dynamite or Collision is, but that's fine. And I've put a legendary band in the extra special set just because we've got the money sitting there. We're on a usual network, so we won't make any money off pay-per-view. Looking at a card for last year's show, which you can tell was done before a few of the patches, because obviously we're at 19,000 at that and we ain't getting that this time. And we're a far popular company than we were then, but it's just amazing looking back at that card, the kind of stuff we're doing. That's wild that the Hangman Mick Foley Texas Death match was a year ago. But just stuff like Mox v Utah, Claudio retained the World Championship against Darby, Okada v Joe in the Continental Classic, Athena v Chris Statlander, Mariah May, Tony Storm, and Ospreay and Ricochet against the Hurt Syndicate, and the Kings of Black Throne against the FTR. So yeah, lots of change in the space of a year, but we'll crack on because it's quite a lengthy show and we'll see how it goes down. So sit back, relax and enjoy World's End 2025 from the PPL Centre. 23 segments, let's do this. So 10,500, so we sell out the PPL Centre, that's fine. And we start the show with a mega entrance by the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada as he's going for back-to-back Continental Classics. Yep, it's starting off as our opening contest and his entrance is in 88. Because it's a pay-per-view, you'll see a lot of segments like this, just because I feel like AEW don't really do anything else apart from kind of small vignette packages, entrances and straight to the match. So I try and keep similar to that. The opener, this was always going to be poor, so I didn't realise until just about to book the match that they had fought before and they had very, very poor chemistry. So I did put it down as a storytelling match. So it was about though that had great heat and good wrestling. Darby Allin defeats Kazuchika Okada in 1734 by pinfall with the quick cradle. This match was storytelling, as I've said. Darby Allin wins the Continental Classic and makes his first defence of the Continental Championship. So not bad. In a month, title matches alone, he's defeated Okada in Omega, and he's defeated a lot of other guys along the way. The wrestling here was a 76, the crowd was an 80, so they were up for it. We did inspire the wrestlers, so hopefully that should see some good ratings as well. The segment a 69. Darby brought a 73, Okada a 78. I gave it a creative finish to try and help it as well. That was a failure, so it didn't help it. And as I say, they didn't seem to click and it made for an awkward bout. The big plan was, straight away from the Omega match, was to make Darby over the course of this in the Continental Classic. And with Okada's popularity being mid-80s, I'm hoping that some of that can now be reflected onto Darby Allin, and hopefully we've made a star over the course of the tournament. That was the plan. So he did it. He's pulled off the shock of the century. Darby Allin defeats Okada to retain the Continental Championship and win the 2025 Continental Classic. He holds the title aloft with one arm and a trophy on the other. So an 81 segment for Darby, your Continental Classic 2025 winner. Next up, we get an over-the-top entrance for the first pay-per-view match of the AEW career for Gianna Daddio alongside Megasis Megan Bayne. This draws a 77, and yeah, crowd were quite into it, which is good to see. The match off itself had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from our audience, and it was the team of Io Shirai and Sarii who defeated Gianna Daddio and Megan Bayne in 13:34 when Io pinned Megan Bayne with a moonsault. So Io carried the match win 90. The wrestling was a 77, the crowd is 65, and the segment overall was an 80. Both Gianna and Megan were off their game. That's a bit disappointing. But I felt here, Io's obviously looking for revenge on what Gianna Daddio and Megan Bayne have done. I feel with her popularity, you don't really need Gianna to win all the time, so she can go over in kind of angles, and people getting the one-up on her can kind of, in matches, can help their popularity. So here the idea was to basically get over Megan Bayne, and then start to push and get over Sarii to give us more depth at the top end of our women's division. We then had the Tag Team Championships on the line, and it was about that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the audience, as Ua and Ricochet defeated the Kings of the Black Throne in 15:12 when Ricochet pinned Malachi Black. With a 6:30 splash after Brody King wiped out Malachi Black by accident. Ua and Ricochet make the third defence of their WWE World Tag Team titles. That many ex-WWE guys, isn't it, to be fair? The AEW World Tag titles. So easy to make a slip in it. Wrestling was 80, crowd was 64, and the segment overall was a 79. So some good stuff here that I was really happy with. Ricochet brought an 87. Ua with one of his better performances with 74. Malachi with 80. And Brody King with 79. The storyline advances and gains heat. You can see plenty of positives there. Excalibur and Taz, and the stuff between Brody and Malachi. Which is ironic, because after the matchup, miscommunication between Malachi and Big Bad Brody King has taken place, and Ricochet and Ua have survived with their AEW Tag Team Championships. Paul Heyman is getting them the hell out of the ring, as Malachi and Brody begin to argue. So a 64 there and a bit of tension in the house. We have our first 6-man matchup from the participants of the Continental Classic, and in this one it was about the had superb wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, and it was a team of Claudio Castagnoli, Kinosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher, who defeated Eddie Kingston, Sami Zayn and Bandito, who took the third spot, in 2007 when Kyle Fletcher pinned Sami with the Grimstone. So again, poor stuff for Sami Zayn here, but an 85 wrestling, 81 segment. Fantastic performances from all the heels. Kyle Fletcher in 92 is really starting to nail it. And yeah, good stuff there. Even Bandito 84, perfect stuff there. Future's bright. Next up, we actually made this match up for the New Japan Strong Women's title. And in about that had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from our audience. Bayley defeated Toni Storm in 1835 while using the ropes for leverage. So Bayley wins the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. So this matchup was always going to take place. The adding of the women's title was very late, but my thinking was it gives you a great opportunity to get fresh matchups for Bayley, like getting her to go to Japan, Mexico. I just think it's a great idea. So I must be said as well, by 80 for Toni and 83 for Bayley is fantastic as well. We're continuing to build them all up, so hopefully over time we can start pushing performances into the 90s and start to get some 90 rated women's matches, because that would be insane. We'd be so happy with that, but good stuff. And more gold for the Mone Corporation. Becky's entrance plays and she stands at the top of the ramp with a big smile on her face. It's time to announce her tag team partner. It's unfamiliar music. Who is it? It's Valkyrie, an old friend of Becky, is back around in AEW, this time for good. So she was actually one of the first ones that we actually recruited from WWE. But because I was unsure what was happening, her contract was a bit messed up and WWE just signed her back. Or did she? No, WWE didn't sign her back, but she became a free agent because I withdrew the contracts. I thought, well, I've lost her. And yeah, she's finally happy to speak to us 1 year later. So we've brought her in, and obviously with the whole stuff with her and Becky, it made sense to team them up. So she debuts a Warrior Princess gimmick. It was an adequate gimmick. She'll perform poorly, but she'll get a bit over us over time. And the segment was a 68. So it's going to be Becky, Quinn and Valkyrie versus Chris Statlander and Priscilla Kelly. And it's a decent wrestling match. Becky, Quinn and Valkyrie defeat Statlander and Priscilla Kelly in 13:48 when Valkyrie pinned Priscilla Kelly with a guillotine. Becky was head and shoulders above the rest. I expected that one. A 71 for the wrestling, a 74 segment. Becky's journey has advanced and gained heat. In terms of ring performances, Becky brought an 87, Stat with a 74, and the other two are obviously ones we can work with, but still, pretty good stuff, and a good spot for them on pay-per-view. Next up was the Trios Championships, and it was about that had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. The Undisputed Kingdom, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly defeat the team of AJ Styles, Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian in 15:06 when Adam Cole pinned Kip with the boom. It's a fifth defence for the World Trios Championships, and yeah, the heels were right. Kip Sabian is the weak link. So the storyline advances between AJ and Nick Wayne. In terms of ring performances, Cole got a 78, it's one of his best ones. Roddy with a stellar 86. AJ still bringing an 80. And good stuff as well from Nick Wayne. But yep, Undisputed Kingdom are still your Trios champions. Moving along then, we get three of the top beloved wrestlers in AEW. And it is going to be Swerve Strickland alongside Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay for this Trios matchup. That was an 87 for their entrance and standing at the top of the ramp. And their matchup had superb wrestling and good heat. And Swerve, Ospreay and Orange Cassidy defeat Jay White, Mark Briscoe and Rush in 1921 when Swerve pinned Mark Briscoe with the Swerve Stomp. 85 for wrestling, and a 79 segment overall. It's probably going to be maybe the storyline between Ospreay and Briscoe's not great, because performance-wise, Orange Cast 82, Swerve 86, Will was a 93, Rush was a 90, Jay White 88, Mark Briscoe 74. Where is the negatives here? The low heat, the storyline, a few physical conditions. That's fair. If the low heat will do that too, sadly, so that's fine. The actual plan initially was to put Mark over, but having all the heels winning for the Continental Classic, I felt wasn't particularly great. So we need to keep some of our baby faces with some good momentum. Next up was the TBS Championship, and it was a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Mariah May defeats Mayu Yamashita in 12:58 with underhanded tactics. For some reason, I made this storytelling as well, but it's her first defence of the TBS Championship. I felt in this one, you can't have her lose the title so quickly, and there's a wrestler that's going to help her bring the best out of her, and hopefully help her develop. But 73 overall, 78 for Mayu, 74 Mariah. The storyline advances and gains heat. Mariah's getting better at her gimmick. Perfect. Next up, about that had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Samoa Joe defeats Zack Sabre Jr. in 13:50 by submission. Made him tap out. Ninth defence of the TNT Championship for the King of Television. Joe brought a 78, Zack Sabre Jr. an 89. Storyline gained heat. The storyline idea was a success as well. Perfect. And both guys with good chemistry together. I just felt like Joe's such a badass man. I just can't see Joe tap him out, so we put Zack Sabre Jr. to sleep. Next up, it was the bout that had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Hangman and the Young Bucks defeated Wheeler Yuta, Ricky Starks and Wardlow in 14:42 when Hangman pinned Ricky Starks with the buckshot lariat following interference from Kenny Omega. This matchup was designed so everyone would get out to steal the show, so MJF on commentary leads to Kenny Omega allying himself with the Bucks and Hangman. 91 for Nick, 75 Matt, 94 Hangman, all 60s for the Backbone, 80 segment overall, and I think this might be one that maybe low heat. Not just a few inconsistencies and declining physical ability. That's worrying for Matt Jackson, having that one. But yeah, of course, MJF on commentary as well, so we didn't get any negatives for that. So he took Tony Schiavone's place. But yeah, it means that Hangman and the Bucks can get their hands on MJF. So Hangman and the Bucks get the win, they celebrate. I did kind of forget I'd put Kenny in, so I've done a situation here where MJF goes, big deal, there's 3 of you, the 4 of us, what the hell are you going to do? We have the big Kenny entrance there, so we'll pretend Kenny didn't interfere in the finish. Oh my god, it's the 4th man, it's Kenny Omega. He walks out, he aligns with Hangman and the Bucks, and they make a beeline to the ring. It's an 8-man brawl, and then the Elite get the upper hand and send the Backbone packing. So, kind of messed up with the matchup there, but the plan is those 4 and those 4 go to war. Storyline advances, loses heat. Kenny was fantastic. Yuta underperformed. 72 segment. What a mess. It wouldn't be an AEW pay-per-view without an over-the-top entrance for your CEO, the AEW Women's World Champion Mercedes Mone, which got 76. And our matchup was a good wild brawl, as Mercedes defeated Athena in 13:58 by submission with a bank statement. It gives her 6th defence of the world title. I was unsure what to make of wild brawl, and I thought Athena's got a good wild brawl start, or a brawling start. I don't think Mercedes is particularly great, but she's quite well-rounded. So the fact we get a 72 out of it, both of them into the 70s, the storyline advances, and the CEO remains your world champion. Then stuff picks up. Talking to 2 brawlers, I couldn't make them brawl because I wanted it to go long, but about that, sensational wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Walter defeats Ilya Dragunov in 28:16 by submission with a rear naked choke. Everything about the matchup was designed to make it give an epic feel, and Walter makes the 15th defence of the AEW International Championship. A 95 for wrestling, a 69 crowd, 89 segment overall, 92 for Dragunov, 98 for Walter. The storyline advances gains heat. The creative finish was a success, and both guys with great chemistry together, so it was always going to be amazing. And absolutely delighted with that one. And yeah, Walter's reign carries on. And if I didn't have low heat and they burnt with baby faces, what could that have been? Crazy. Anyway, Main event time. First off, we get the over-the-top entrance for Kevin Steen. He awaits Bryan coming to the ring, but Bryan does make it and he arrives in style as it's the final countdown entrance. So, storyline advances, 80 segment. How will the main event do? An 84. Oh, great finish was a failure. But still, anyway, but with superb wrestling and great heat, Bryan Danielson defeats Kevin Steen in 31-38 by submission with cattle mutilation. His first defence of the world title again. Just won the title, overcame the odds and managed to, as I say, keep it. 95 Bryan, 80 for Kevin Steen. I think you maybe lose that for being an 86, 87 with the creative finish failing. And negatives here. Steen's stamina, both guys' physical condition, and the failed creative finish. That's fine, that's to be expected. I think Kev could do a 30-minute match, no bother. So overall, 89, thanks to the boost. We gained popularity pretty much globally with the boost of the legendary band, etc. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with that one. I feel like that played out quite well after what we were building. A lot of good storylines, good matches. Yeah, let's just start from afresh going into the new year. So we'll just quickly address the locker room and we'll say to the usual to it. Fantastic stuff used to it. I don't like upsetting them, so we'll just keep everybody happy. Made 67 million off our network, so it's just a cheat code at this point. But you can see that we gain popularity everywhere. Some places 2, most places 1. Just the Tri-State and Ontario that we didn't gain any popularity. In our media scrum, how are you intending to use Nikki tonight? Don't tell them about who we're signing. She'll have to work her way up the ladder. Same with Valkyrie. Bayley won the New Japan Strong Women's title tonight. She deserves a run as champion. A big date in the AEW calendar, Wrestle Dynasty, is almost... I forgot about that. Oh my god, I forgot. I need to try and book that. Yikes. Oh well, I've got a week to put a card together. I honestly scrapped my mind that. Are your plans finalised for this highly regarded show? Well, I'm getting a lot of loans in for New Japan and CMLR, because technically it's not an AEW show, but I think we'll say I'll get a few aces up our sleeve, because I don't have anything booked for that. I completely forgot. Huge success. Didn't do well in the US market. I'm confident we'll continue to put our best shows, actually. I can't believe I forgot about that. Wrestle Dynasty. I don't think it's in the other mod, because it's more recent, and obviously by then it was known that it was a New Japan more book show when AEW sent people over. So I'm going to have a fun week. I'll try and put some stuff together over the course of the Dynamite and the collision between then. But basically it'll be a weird setup with the videos, because next will be the Wrestle of the Year Awards. I know Dynamite's on the 31st, but Dynamite will be after. I'll show it. It's confusing explaining, but you'll know what I mean. Because obviously I do a week in AEW, so that's how I'm going to work it. Stardom have expanded. Good stuff there. I wonder if Mayu versus Momo, I wonder if that's been helped, because both of these have had times with us. And if they're available, I'm certainly going to try and use them in that Wrestle Dynasty show. 40 popularity. Have we used Mayu? There you go. Collision, Rampage. We used her. I actually hope at a stage where they get that popular that Stardom can't afford them and we just sign them, but it never gets that way. Walker, Stewart, and Aya Sakura. Show's fantastic. El Phantasmo got his extension. I don't need Randy Orton clone. And yeah, that's pretty much it there. Just confirming that we are signing Roxy. That's done and dusted. So she'll be here at the end of the month. WWE are trying to get Mina Shirakawa. They're offering 2 years at 17. We're 3 years at 14. I don't really want to commit to Mina. I'm not really using her massively, but I'll go with that. If WWE go higher than that, then fair enough, you can go. You're 38. So the other things I really need to do is an extension for Shoko Najima in Ring of Honor. She's just basically well, effectively player coach at this role with how good she is. Thunder Rosa got a new contract. Our buy rate was 0.01. 31 million viewers watched it though on our network. Bailey says that Bandito is charismatic. Priscilla Kelly doesn't get it, says Eddie Kingston. And Takeshita says Suri's got to be a top talent. So that's pretty much it. So I have a week to book Wrestle Dynasty. Just check a wee thing here. So I've got it down as Monday the 5th. That's perfect then, actually. I think I have looked ahead to this because I made sure New Japan and CML didn't have a show. So I'm going to go ahead. And while I'm watching Dynamite tonight, I'm going to be doing a lot of loans for people to take place. I'll probably just put up a lot of matches that don't connect to stories, but we'll see how it goes. The last thing, before we end the video, is I want to check a wee bit of popularity. So major stars. Bryan's still mid-80s. Darby's 77. He might be capped at that. Okada didn't really take a loss. That's pretty good. Kenny, low 80s. Takeshita 76. Fletcher 76. Mercedes, brink of the 80s. Swerve 75s. Walter in the 80s. And Ospreay just below that as well. If we go to stars, I'll just do the top two. Hangman in the 70s. So is Bailey. Becky's just above that. Bobby 73. Claudio in the 70s. Eddie 69s. Io Shirai 73, 74, 75s. Jamie 67. When I see something like that, I'm like, oh, don't be capped at 67 because obviously you get your pop caps. Jay White 72. Mox at the 70s. What's Mox's highest ever? Was it 71? It's wild. Mox is one I'm surprised hasn't broke it. 66 roughly for start. Same Mariah, just one over. MGF in the low 70s. Same as OC. Paul Heyman in the 80s. Ray Phoenix in the 66. Ricochet capped at 70, I'm pretty sure, because I think he's been at it for a while. Well, no, he's not actually. We've actually booked him pretty well. 53 up to 70, so. Especially the 55 there. In fact, his low is 49, and his pop is gaining quite massively in that time, and then Samoa Joe 71. But that's what I'm liking. You're seeing people that are like properly going up in popularity. But yeah, that's going to be it. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll see us for the next couple of videos. So it'll basically be a World Show next, full week AEW the one after that, and then Wrestle Dynasty after that. So cheers for watching. Mind check out the Fantasy Booker subreddit, Greyhawk Software forums, twdb.com and bethebooker.net. Hopefully I'll see you for some of those videos. Bye bye.